What's going on, guys? This is Brent0331, and as you probably already know, the fall semester One Shepherd is right around the corner. As I film this video, it's exactly 1 week away. So if you guys are teetering on the fence of whether you can go or not, hey, this is your last opportunity to get down range and come train with me, okay? So with that being said, guys, I am not cadre at One Shepherd, okay? I can only give you my interpretations of what I think you should bring, or what you my recommendations for what you should bring. But don't take everything I say as gospel here, because some of the stuff, you know, like I said, it's their house, their rules, and you know, my interpretations of something might not exactly be accurate. So if you got specific questions about their program and everything else, make sure you reach out to them. Matt Getters is their director down there at One Shepherd, and also Dr. Larson is a big founding member there. You know, those guys would be more than happy to answer any specific questions that you have, and I know they check these videos that I make out regularly to answer guys' questions. So with that being said, guys, another thing I want to throw out there is my good buddy Bruce, who was in the last video with me. He went down to One Shepherd with me last year during the fall semester. Unfortunately, he's come down with a very severe case of vaginitis. It's just bad, guys. Some sand got up in there, he couldn't get it out, it got infected, and he had to pop smoke, and he can't make it to this fall semester. So last I heard, though, update on him is he went to Walmart, he got some Vagisil on aisle 9, and you know, he's starting the recovery process. So we hope for him the best and a quick and painless recovery. So at any rate, guys, all joking aside, Bruce has some serious work conflicts that came up, and it kind of prevented him from joining us this year to join the fight. So unfortunately, it is what it is. We're going down range without him. But I know some of my subscribers are signed up for this semester, so I will see you guys there, and I might lean on you for some help out there, okay, as far as filming and everything. So if you want to be a star in this next One Shepherd YouTube video, hey, help me out. So in any event, guys, here, got my gear laid out, all right, just like last year, laid out the gear, you know, stuff that Bruce and I thought we were going to need. So the difference between this time and last time is, last time we didn't know 100% what exactly we were going to be needing. We were going off their gear list and what little information we knew about One Shepherd at the time. Now I have the experience of at least participating in last year's FTX, so I have a little bit more experience and more know-how on what exactly I need going into the fight this time around. I'm also going to be there for the whole entire week, so starting with the Basic Warriors course, going into the STX, and then the final training exercise. So guys, it's going to be badass, all right? If you're going down range with me, freaking can't wait to see you, all right? If you're not, hey, do what you got to do so you can get down there next time, okay? In any event, let's get to it, guys. Alright, guys, first thing I'm going to start with is my individual rifle, okay? Now, I just want to throw this out there. If you're new to One Shepherd, I believe they want you to use one of their stock-issued weapons. And the reason for that is because their stock-issued weapons are outfitted with the Miles 2000 system. And the Miles 2000 system is a little bit more user-friendly. As you can see in the video I'm showing, it's got a box, and you know, you push buttons, it tells you you're good, everything's good, and everything else. If you're a newbie to the Miles system, it's definitely a more easier to understand and learn system. So, you know, from my understanding, if it's your first time up there, you have to use one of their weapons. Now, is that a solid concrete set in stone? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a cadre up there. So if you have your own personal weapon and you're wanting to bring it and everything, you'll have to talk to their director, Matt Getters, up there, or one of their other staff members to see if they'll waive that requirement. In any event, moving forward, so this is my personal rifle that I'll be taking up there. I have my weapon right now outfitted for both day and night fighting. And last time I went up there, I did not have any of the night fighting capabilities. We didn't even have MBGs, as opposed to the other side, who was completely outfitted with MBGs. So big disadvantage for us last year. I will not have that problem this year. So I've corrected that, all right? And it was almost immediate after I came back from One Shepherd. I was looking at increasing my capabilities of fighting at night. So with that being said, starting from the front, moving our way back. So I have a older Surefire flashlight mounted here, and the reason I have that on here is because I had this IR cover. Now this IR cover will allow me to, when I activate this light, it will turn the filter the light into IR light only. So you won't be able to see it with your naked eye, but I'll be able to see it through my MVGs, and it'll completely illuminate whatever I'm shining my light at. So if I want a white light option, I can just flip that cover open, and then there we go. I got regular white light. Now last year's event, we saw both fighting in the woods, and we actually did some CQB as well, because during the course of the scenario, our enemy ended up falling back into the fob, and we assaulted the fob and had to take some buildings and everything else. So there was a CQB aspect. So white light definitely came into play, as well as the fact that when we were up against the other side and none of our guys had NVGs, there was a lot of white light being used on our side, because that was the only way we could effectively neutralize their NVG capabilities when we were in some serious close combat with those guys. So in any event, guys, I will not be disadvantaged this year in the night, all right? So I will own the night this year. So I have a D-Ball I2 PEC style laser here. It has both a visible laser and an IR laser. So what does that mean? It means I can emit a red laser that I can see with my naked eye during the daytime, and then I have an IR laser that can only be seen through NVGs. So awesome capability, got that now. Very excited to use that in conjunction with my PVS 14s. Moving back, I have my Trijicon ACOG here. So you guys know me, I'm a big fan of ACOGs. In my opinion, it's one of the most combat proven optics in the world, okay? The US military has been using ACOGs, you know, for virtually the entirety of the global war on terrorism, and it's just a solid optic, and I really enjoy it. It's fixed 4 power, and that's what I'll be taking to the fight this year. Other than that, guys, I have a you know, a grip pod on here. You know, bipod legs fold up inside there. Now, I'm gonna throw this out there because, you know, I think, based off my experiences in both the Marine Corps and patrolling, and my experiences at One Shepherd last year, you know, having a vertical grip is a very big plus out there. For reasons being, is when you're patrolling and stuff like this, if you have that natural beer can handhold, your hand does not become fatigued. If you're constantly holding your rifle like this, or if you have like an AFG or something along those lines like that, your hand eventually becomes fatigued, and you eventually, what happens is you start gravitating towards that mag well, and you start holding the rifle like this. So, you know, I'd rather just have this and have a more natural hold, and you know, my hand would be less fatigued, and then that way I'm always ready for the fight, as opposed to being here, and then when, you know, the engagement happens, I end up having to come back up here and to get that natural rifle shooting, you know, hold. So that's my 2 cents on the vertical foregrip. And that pretty much sums it up for the weapon, guys. Let's move on. Alright guys, so next thing I want to talk about is my sleeping system, and I also want to differentiate between being in the fob and being in the field, okay? So everything you see laid out here is essentially everything I'm taking up there, but it's not everything I'm taking to the field, okay? I'll take some of this to the field, and a lot of this stuff will stay back at the fob. Now, looking over here, you see a chair there. Obviously that's a fob piece of gear. I'm not humping that thing out into the field, alright? I don't need it. But it's good. I recommend taking a chair, because you're going to have your cot inside the, you know, the troop tents and whatnot. You sit on your chair and use your cot as a table. So another fob thing, a pillow. Okay, so have a nice comfortable pillow to sleep on while you're back in the rear. So my sleeping system here, I've got a you know, standard issue bivy sack. I've got the lighter weight jungle style sleeping bag. Also got a poncho liner. Now, depending on what the weather is like, I might just go down to a Ranger roll when we step off into the field. Ranger roll just consists of a poncho and the poncho liner, and then that's it. As far as a pillow in the field, hey, whatever, man, use whatever. I'll take an M65 field jacket liner. Usually use that as my warming layer, and that makes a great and excellent pillow. So speaking of that, this was one of my, you know, Bruce and I talked last year at the very end, like what was our best pieces of gear that we thought we had. This was one of my top picks. Field jacket liner. This thing I thought was just awesome out there, okay? Particularly because we were out for, as you can see, that this is, you know, an OD green. So literally I just threw this over my my blouse here, and that was my warming layer. So when it started to get a little bit chilly, when the sun went down, there you go, I had this. Now if I'm blue 4 this year and I'm wearing woodland utilities, then I would just wear this underneath my my blouse, and that would be my warming layer. If it's getting, temperatures are really dropping low, and it's something that I don't think my field jacket liner is going to handle, I've also got an M65 field jacket that I could take up there. Chances are that is not going to be employed during this trip, but I will have it, okay? You know, particularly, you know, around the fob, it's getting cold or whatever, and wear that around the fob. But M65 field jackets are pretty heavy, so I most likely will avoid taking that to the field if I can avoid it. If it gets cold, got a watch cap I can wear. Also, rain gear. So At One Shepherd, you're required to maintain 2 uniforms, a woodland set and a OD set. The woodland set is for Blue 4, OD set is for Op 4 during the final training exercise and some of the combat scenarios that they run. The standard uniform is this OD one that I'm wearing. So with that being said, you do need 2 sets of rain gear. That pretty much just includes parka, but you know, it's always good to have the pants if you have them. Right here I've got, you know, a woodland style military issue, US military issue Gore-Tex top. Guys, you can get these really cheap. Great piece of gear. You can get those just about anywhere. Find them on eBay, surplus stores, whatever. Same with the bottoms. For OD, it might be a little bit more challenging, but there are options, okay? What I did last year is I went and found this Canadian issue Gore-Tex style suit. It's pretty cheap. The whole outfit, just top and bottom, the whole outfit probably cost me about 40 bucks. Now, I did have some Canadian guys telling me that this was garbage. So I will have an disclaimer here. I have not worn this in One Shepherd in the rain yet, so I don't know how effective it is. All I can tell you is what I did is I took some clothes, some regular utilities, I balled them up, I put them inside here, and then I put this out in the rain one time to test it for about 4 hours. Went and checked it, they were still dry. So it did what it was supposed to do in that amount of time, but how this stacks up to a regular, you know, US military issue Gore-Tex, I don't know. But in any event, guys, there it is, it's out there. So this is an option if you want to go this route. Again, it was about $40 surplus Canadian military rain gear. All right, let's move on. All right, guys, so Army laundry bags. So these things are awesome. I think I got like 3 of them for $15 from the Sportsman's Guide. Great piece of gear. Usually what I do is obviously I keep my dirty laundry in one of them, and then the other one I keep clean laundry in. So like skivvies, socks, skivvy shirts, stuff like that, keeping this one. And then these do a really good job of containing the you know, the dirty clothes and the odor and all that other stuff inside the bag. OD green duct tape, always have this. You can get this at Walmart or just about anywhere, okay, like Lowe's or Home Depot. Just great to have OD green duct tape for whatever purpose. Same thing with these freezer bags. Freezer bags are great. As you can see, I just have miscellaneous gear items in these bags, and you never know when you need to use these things. You can put maps in here, everything, and it keeps it dry. You know, water, keep water from tanning your maps and other paper type items. Now, this right here is a 5-paragraph order book, so it just, you know, has everything SMEAC in there, and you will be given orders. And you know, for the FTX, they give you an order and everything else. This is a good little piece of gear because you can use your map pens, you write down, and then you have it. And then when you're done, you just erase it, and there you go. You still have the 5-paragraph order book and use it for the next order. So I don't know how many orders they're going to give, but I have it, so I'm taking it. So it might be a little bit easier when they're briefing for me. If I need any to reference any material, take the Marine Rifle Squad, Marine Bible. You never know. You know, I'm a staff NCO in the Marine Corps, but stuff occasionally comes up where I have to go back and reference the book. Always have that. Toon Commander's tactical notebook. This has just a lot of great material in it. Just comes in handy from time to time. Note cards. These are awesome for, you know, if you're trying to remember stuff, you need to write stuff down, serialize gear, blood type, make a kill card, you know, a field type kill card or whatnot. If you're given a terrain model, making a terrain model, and you're given an order, you know, note cards always come in handy to identify stuff. Writing a rain book, self-explanatory, small memorandum, and then I got my green monster here for taking notes during classes and everything else. This little bag right here can help contain all that stuff. Extra pens, all self-explanatory. Moving on to hygiene. So obviously won't be taking all this to the field. When we step off to the field, a lot of this stuff will stay at the fob, and I'll probably talk about that here in a second. So starting off, multivitamins and fish oil, some vitamins. You know, it's good. You're going to be out there for a week. You're going to be moving around. You're going to be hydrating a lot. Your body's going to need those vitamins. So I recommend taking some, you know, multivitamins and stuff like that, just to keep you from cramping up and keeping your body in its peak condition. All right. Toothbrush, toothpaste, some moisturizing hand cream stuff. I hate it, but hey, I also hate when your hands are so dry that they're cracking and starting to bleed, and it becomes a pain in the ass. So recommend taking some like moisturizing cream or whatnot in case your hands do start doing that. Shaving material, you're not going to see freaking Special Forces beards on me. Ibuprofen for when your body starts hurting. You know, you get up in age, you start needing that stuff, okay? A little just kit, you know, nail clippers are pretty much a must. You know, you're getting hangnails and everything else. Just keep your hands in good condition. Moleskin, you know, eventually your feet become vaginas when you're humping around a lot, and you got to take care of them. Moleskin just for that purpose. Dental sticks, good to have. Just, you know, you get crap up in your teeth. Don't need to explain that. You guys should already know. Soap, make sure you take soap. They do have showers. One thing I don't have laid out here is that moisture wicking towel. So moisture wicking towel and shower shoes. Make sure you bring that stuff so you can, you know, shower when you come back from the field. Hand sanitizer for before you eat, kill the germs. So here's some deodorant here. This is you know, scent killer deodorant. No scent whatsoever. It's for deer hunting, but it's applicable in our situation. How much does that stuff help? I don't know, but hey, you know, it's one less factor you have to worry about, you know, with somebody picking up. Gold Bond, absolute must. Any type of baby powder or anything like that, something to help. All right, as a man, you need this stuff, all right? So I've got a bigger one for being back in the rear, and then I've got the smaller one for going out in the field. But for me, I need this shit. I got to put it on my balls, all right? Otherwise, you're going to have problems. You're going to get chafage, monkey ass, whatever. Chapstick, yeah, that comes into play. Your lips will get chapped. All right, another essential, okay? Baby wipes. Absolutely have to have baby wipes to get the shit off your ass, because you will get monkey ass in the field if you don't wipe and get all that crap off your ass, all right? Once you get monkey ass, freaking morale just goes right down the pipe, all right? So, and you become combat ineffective. I'm telling you, it's a bad day. Baby wipes help clean your ass good, and then you don't have to worry about that, okay? So absolute must, get those. You know, probably a better way to carry these is get the little small hard case. I couldn't find one for the life of me at Walmart, so whatever, I just got a smaller pack. I'll just run this. It's not a big deal. Flashlights. So headlamp is a good piece of gear. Recommend that you have a headlamp, one that is red lens capable. This one in particular I like because on the first push of the button, it turns on a red light as opposed to a white light, and then to get the white light on, I've got to hold it down, and that will turn on the white light. So even if my flashlight, which these things do this all the time, it's a pain in the ass, but you have a negligent discharge with your flashlight in the pack, right? Your flashlight will turn on, you won't even know it, and there you go, you got a light shining in your pack. You know, I see it on Marines all the time, okay? And that just has to do with the fact that, you know, most guys are using just, you know, flashlights are designed for civilian purposes, not designed for military purposes, and they just aren't very suitable for tactical purposes. This one right here is more suitable for tactical purposes, and like I said, if it does have that negligent discharge in your pack, it's going to be a red light first, vice a white light. A couple other flashlights just in case I need them, just a tiny mini mag light, you know, for whatever. Old school moonbeam. Every once in a while I need these, and you know, it's just an old reliable flashlight. I still like them, even though they're big and bulky and everything else. You know, it's good, and plus you can still use them to signal. You go halfway up, and then you can use the small button to do a little signaling type deal. So again, old school, but I'm an old school guy, so I like that kind of stuff. All right, so moving forwards, over here I got some different chem lights. So I have different colors in here: yellow, red, blue. I've also got some IR chem lights. These actually came into play last year. We were sitting in the defense, and again, I've already talked about the you know, our night vision deficiency last year, but we actually set up in our perimeter about, I don't know, probably about 50 to 100 meters out. We set up chem lights so that it illuminated our perimeter. So if the enemy that was moving in, you know, would have to cross those chem lights and make them more visible to us. So that was one of the countermeasures that we employed against the enemy who was using night vision. Moving on here, I just have some bags of miscellaneous different items. So in this bag, I've got some cami netting in case I want to put it on top of my Kevlar. I've got some camoform tape if I need to, you know, camouflage some particular gear. These things are just elastic style bands to help retain gear. You know, the saying is you got a tight pack, you got a light pack. So just some different stuff like that, miscellaneous items. We've also got some camouflage colored zip ties. Zip ties are great, particularly with the you know, Alice type gear. I guess Molly too. You know, help it, give it another layer of protection so it doesn't fall off. Extra bootlaces, absolute must. Make sure you bring some extra bootlaces just in case your bootlaces snap on you. Particularly if you're a guy like me, you're constantly wearing your combat boots for, you know, real military purposes, or just, you know, running a gun or whatever you're doing. Bootlaces do snap, they don't last forever. Mini bungee cords, just a good little piece of gear to have. Don't know what you need them for, but you know, every once in a while, yeah, there's a purpose. One thing that could be good for these mini bungee cords and these elastic bands is when they give you the miles sensors attached to your gear. These things can be utilized and will help retain that miles gear to your actual combat load. So in this bag here, I've just got 550 cord. All right, 550 cord always comes in handy for whatever, you know, whatever purpose you need it. A lighter to help secure the ends so they don't fray. Some electrical duct tape, always a good piece of gear to have. Some bug repellent. Also, something I don't have out here is the permethrin spray. What I recommend you do is you buy some permethrin spray from, I've seen them at, like recently I've seen it at Sportsman's Guide. Really good deal. I think it was like 3 cans for $15. And you treat your uniforms with that permethrin, which is by far the best anti-bug type anything to have on your uniform, because it's just good. And going to a place like Missouri, you know, it's tick infested. You want to have your uniform covered in permethrin. They do have permethrin, at least they had it last time we were up there, where we were able to spray down our utilities before we stepped off. But you know, just in case, you know, circumstances don't favor you and they're out or whatever the case may be, it's probably a better bet just to buy the stuff yourself. It's cheap, you can get it, and treat your own uniform. All right, camouflage face paint. So I'm taking 2 sets up here. One is this BCB International Camouflage Face Paint Compact. What I like about this one is it's got a big ass mirror in it. It's good for, you know, shaving or applying your face paint or whatever. The big mirror is a big plus. Plus the camo paint. You know, I use it a lot for my camouflage videos, and I tend to find that it holds really good, especially even though I'm sweating and everything else. It's still, all face paint is eventually going to rub and start coming off and everything else, but you know, I think that the BCB stuff does do a pretty good job of you know, staying on your face. They also have this two-tone stick that I'll take with me. That is an excellent way to apply camouflage face paint to your face quickly. All right, guys, so here's a bag of batteries. Take a bunch of batteries, all right? I got a crap load of AA's there. I'll definitely need to add some CR123s in there and some 9-volt batteries for my rangefinder. So with that being said, rangefinder could be a good piece of gear. I don't know if I'll take it to the field with me or not, but I remember sitting in the defense and, you know, we were setting up trip wires and trip flares and stuff like that, and, you know, clearing fields of fire, so it might come in handy just knowing the exact distance and how far certain obstacles and everything else is. So when the enemy does attack, you have that knowledge at hand. Garmin GPS. GPS is just a good piece of gear to have. Always have a quick, easy way to get your grid. I like having a GPS. So mine right here, it's it's a little bit more bulky. It was a more economical purchase for me. One of the ones that I see a lot of guys run that are great pieces of gear are the wrist watch style Garmin GPSs. Those are great. If you guys have one of those, that's a good piece of gear to have. Either way, I recommend you bring a GPS so that you can easily reference where you are on the map. So, talking about map reading, so here's my map kit. So inside my map kit, I've got map pens. This has a big mirror in it. Also has a little light, to help read light, or help read your map at night. It doesn't shine that, produce a big light, so it's less likely to reflect and somebody being able to see that from a distance. Magnifying glass for, sometimes you get maps and there's small stuff. So this, like I said, this is just my map reading kit. All this stuff is just contained in here. Ranger beads here for keeping pace count and everything else. Got these. It's a good thing to have. Here's an example of the map they will give you at One Shepherd. So you will get one of these during when they give you your your warning order and your 5-paragraph order and everything else for the FTX. But it's a map of the AO, and it'll also have things on there describing what's going on in the scenario that they give you. So in the scenario that we were taking part in, we were a force that was a part of a larger force, and that played into the scenario. And when they give you that order, it tells you and defines what's going on, because that plays a big role in where you can and cannot go. And like for instance, in some of these scenarios here, there were minefields that we weren't authorized to cross, otherwise you'd be dead and you're automatically out of the game. So, you know, orienteering, having maps and stuff like that, you know, it plays a big role. You need to know how to read a map, you know, how to navigate, how to use a compass and everything else. I think it's part of the basic warriors course. They do go over some map reading skills. So, you know, if you don't know this stuff, don't worry, guys. This is what it's all about. All right, go in there to learn, and that's what makes this place so great. Because, you know, in my opinion, I don't think there's too many places like this, if any. So it's just an awesome opportunity, especially if you have no military training, or you were in the military and you just need a refresher. Over here, rifle cleaning gear, absolute must. You must have this. ESS, Marine Corps issue glasses. Comes with a tinted shades and clear shades. You need those. You definitely should have some sort of eye protection, okay? Binos. Now, these are my Steiner Marines. These are great binos. They are heavy, they are bulkier. But in my opinion, it's worth the extra weight, particularly when you're setting in the defense and you need some good glass. Now the problem is I'm going to be taking a lot of camera gear, probably more so now since Bruce isn't going to be with me. So I might just have to downgrade to some smaller binos, just because I'm going to be carrying a lot of extra camera equipment this time around. So we'll see what happens, guys. Typically though, I do like to take the bigger binos just so I have them for, you know, like sitting in the defense, or, you know, going on recon patrols or whatever. Just, I like having the bigger binos for the extra benefit of having those. In any event, let's move on to uniform items. All right, guys, so actually before I get into uniforms, I need to hit some of the stuff over here real quick. So over here I got my field stove. Now, if you saw the last video I made for One Shepherd, I had a Marine Corps issued stove that is on my canteen cup, but I didn't have any trioxane fuel tablets or anything like that. Bruce, on the other hand, had his Espit alcohol stove, so I was hitting him up all the time for cups of coffee and everything else. So coffee's outstanding, guys. It is just, you know, is a deal breaker for me. You're going to be in the field for 3 days straight during the final training exercise, and that caffeine is what you're going to need to get you through 3 days of sleep deprivation and everything else. So it's just a big morale boost and helps you keep you alert when you're in the field. If you haven't seen this before, it's a BCB International field stove. I did a video over this, but this is, you know, compact, folds up, and this is actually what the Brits use. But this is our Fire Dragon stove, so it folds up just like this. You can take your canteen cup, set it on top. Your fuel, you can use the Fire Dragon fuel tablets that they have, and these will light when wet and everything else. Or you can use standard US military issue trioxane tablets. You know, you can get a bunch of these on the surplus market pretty cheap. So all that stuff's out there, guys, and that's just an option to take. In my opinion, this is a necessity. So just going by what I know, okay? But this is my little pouch that I keep my field stove in. Here's instant coffee that I'll take. I'll probably put coffee in a Ziploc bag, you know, like a gallon freezer bag, and stuff it in here with this, and then this will be my little caffeine kit to keep me alert and in the fight. All right, so that's that. Over here, this is just stuff I'm gonna have at the fob. This is just, you know, injuries type stuff. Okay, so your tuition for One Shepherd for the full week is gonna run you about $700. So if you get something like a sprained ankle, you know, tennis elbow or something like that, or, you know, your wrist is hurting or whatever, like, you're gonna have to drag me out of there kicking and screaming, guys, because I'm gonna get my money's worth of training. All right. So I take all this crap up there, you know, like knee braces, whatever, because you don't know what the hell's gonna happen. I take all the stuff up there just in case something happens. You know, I can throw that on there and it'll help facilitate keeping me in the fight. Last time I was up there, one of the cadre actually had some sort of arm injury, elbow injury or something like that. So I gave him, you know, like an elbow brace to help him out for the time he was there. He didn't end up going to the field with us, but, you know, he was grateful that I had this stuff that he could use. So that's why I take all that stuff. That's why I recommend you guys do the same, so that you can keep yourself in the fight, all right? All right, guys, for the uniform, so I recommend you take an extra pair of boots. If you saw last year's video, you saw that Bruce's sole on his boots actually fell off during the final training exercise, all right? So make sure you have two pairs of boots. They pretty much say that, you know, once you step off in the FTX, you're not going to go back to the fob, but, you know, in a worst case scenario, like your sole falls off, you know, they'll probably send somebody back and grab those extra boots for you. Just what happened in Bruce's case, all right? So you don't have to go completely miserable for 3 days with no soles and run around with like ninja boots. But extra pair of boots is a good thing, all right? Especially, you know, you go through a river or a creek or something, you know, during one training evolution, you come back to the fob, you can change them out, and you have some dry boots to come back home to. My gloves are Nomex flight gloves. This is the ones I prefer for field use. And then for work-related stuff, I've got some East German leather gloves. These things are great. I got a whole bunch of them. They're real cheap, and I use them for yard work and everything else. So if I got to dig fighting positions or any type of other manual labor type stuff, you know, leather gloves, good thing to have. Sniper Veil, excellent piece of gear, 101 uses. Bruce and I talked about this during our debrief in the video, and this was absolutely essential piece of gear in our opinion. For me, I'm taking this one. On one side, it's almost solid green. It does have you can kind of see the camouflage pattern, but for the most part, it's solid green. And then on the other side, it's, you know, your woodland style camouflage. So it'll be, I'll wear this side if I'm blue 4, wearing woodland camis. And then if I'm op 4, I'll wear the more OD solid color side. Uniform. So the uniform, what I'm wearing here is the TRU jacket, all right? So it's kind of like an ACU cut top, and they like this because it has a Velcro on the sleeves and whatnot. It's got slanted pockets, and you know, it's a good uniform top. This is if you go to their uniform web page, this is what they stipulate is their uniform top. That's what they want. The pants, they give you a little bit more leeway. So they say you can either have the TRU pants like the ones I'm wearing. You can have a BDU style cut pant, which is, you know, stuff you can get on the surplus market. Or it just says, you know, you can have a variety of pants just as long as the material matches. So what they mean by that is if you ever look for OD stuff, essentially every manufacturer has a different shade of what they call OD. So, you know, if you were to get, you know, my last gear video, I demonstrated this, but if I were to lay out a proper brand, a true spec brand, and, you know, some other brands, what they call OD, they're all going to be different shades. So if you can find, you know, stuff that matches, that's what they want, okay? So they gave you some leeway on the trousers. It's just they want you to wear the TRU shirt. So make sure you get the TRU shirt, and then you have a little bit more flexibility on what type of trousers you have, just as long as they match. So here's, you know, woodland top in the TRU cut. All right. So, and then my the trousers I have here are actually true spec 24/7 brands, so they're not even, you know, standard BDU style. So I'm taking these with me, and as you can see, the colors match are pretty spot on. So I don't have a second set of woodland like this, so I have a second set of, you know, regular, my old school, you know, BDUs. If I have to use these for whatever reason, let's say my TRU shirt rips and I'm still on the blue 4 team, I'm sure they won't mind me pulling out the BDUs, all right, to fill the gap. Okay, it's just one of those things. I think they want you to wear the TRU shirt. But push comes to shove, I think in emergency situations, you know, you can get away with probably a BDU top. But again, I'm not the director, guys. You know, I'm not a cadre there. So, you know, it is what it is. Try to meet their guidelines, their expectations. But I'm sure in emergency situations they'll work with you. Let's see, over here, guys. So, undergarments. So, green silkies increase combat effectiveness by 25%. No bullshit, all right? So that is my recommended underwear. You can either wear OD green or black, all right? That's what you want to look for. It is said that General Mattis, during the Battle of Fallujah, went in and cleared 3 city blocks wearing nothing but, armed with nothing but green silkies and a Conan sword, all right? He only stopped because he felt that he was having too much fun and he wanted the rest of the Marines to get in there and get some and have some fun too. So anyways, green silkies, guys, or black silkies. The Army calls them Ranger panties. That increases your combat effectiveness by 25% and is a great undergarment. As far as undershirt's concerned, OD grain skivvy shirt is what they want. So Marine Corps undershirt is good to go. I prefer 100% cotton, OD green, you know, typical Marine standard issue Marine Corps skivvy shirt. That's what I like to wear. You can get moisture wicking and all that stuff. I personally just like the 100% cotton regular skivvy shirts. They're just comfortable for me. Socks should be either OD or coyote. I assume black would probably be acceptable too, but not white, okay? So I don't even think on their uniform page they specify that, but white socks are just a no-go. That's a no-brainer. You should know that. Going into camera equipment, so you can't see the camera I'm filming with. I'll take that up there, but it's my nicer camera. It's actually capable of filming in 4K. I usually keep it to 1080p though, just because I can get more film, the more bang for the buck, I guess you could say. I had a YouTube user, a subscriber of mine. His name is B-Night3, all right? Excuse me, the B-Night3. This guy, let me tell you guys, he hooked me up, all right, for this trip. I can't express how grateful I am for this guy. I got more to show you, but this guy sent me well over $1,000 worth of camera equipment to use for this training evolution. Just as a kindness of his heart, all right? I'm gonna send all this stuff back to him after I get done, but just, you know, the fact that one of my subscribers reached out to me and was willing to send like $1,000 plus worth of equipment for me to enhance my filming capabilities for this trip is just mind-blowing to me, and I'm really grateful to him. So the B-Night3, hey, thanks brother, and man, you have definitely gone out of your way on this, so you're a patriot, brother. I appreciate it. But one of the things he sent me is this Hero 5, okay, with this boonie mount. So, you know, I can wear this boonie, and you guys can see how this attaches. And there we go. We got a GoPro. All right. So that is going to be an excellent little capability. He also sent a whole bunch of SD cards to hold, you know, film and everything else. So it's going to be good. I gotta spin up and get myself familiar. I got a week to learn all these systems. So kind of my standard equipment though. I've got my older camera, kind of what I pretty much started out in YouTube with. But I'll just take this one and, you know, film different scenes with that, just like what I did last year. He also sent me, here you go guys, this is pretty amazing here. So this is from Brain Exploder. So the B-Night3 sent me this night vision recording camera. This thing, guys, hooks up to my PVS-14 and literally records what I see through this PVS-14. How awesome is that? So when I'm looking through this, guys, I'm slaying bodies at night with my PVS-14 and my PEC lasers, my D-Ball-I2. You guys will be able to, or in theory anyways, I should be able to record that. So you guys will see some night fighting captured on camera because of this gentleman. So once again, thanks, man. You're freaking awesome. Now to mount my MVGs, I've got this. I actually bought a little cheap airsoft helmet so that I could mount these MVGs to. I don't need any ballistic protection. You know, we're shooting lasers here, so you know I'm not going to take an actual Kevlar helmet when I can get away with wearing just a little, you know, cheap airsoft helmet that will get the job done. This mount seems pretty sturdy. I've worked with this quite a bit. It hasn't fallen off, so we'll see how it works. This little airsoft helmet, I bought this little cover for it. So if I'm blue 4, you know, I wear the cover. If I'm op 4, you know, underneath this it's just regular OD green. But it, you know, it holds my elbow for my MVGs quite nicely. I'll take some additional steps to make sure my stuff is secure so it doesn't fall off, you know, during the course of our training. But it's set up, guys. So, you know, this guy B-Night3, man, he hooked me up. So all I can say is here's my MVGs I'm gonna be using at night. So again, these are PVS-14s. And hopefully we'll get some good footage of that, guys. All right, so right here is a tripwire kit. I'll go over the contents of this kit later on. I just don't want to give any secrets away right now. I'm actually going to do a video on this at a later time. So tripwire kit containing items I need to set up different early warning devices. I've got 2 ponchos here. One of them is woodland camouflage. The other one's OD. For the OD poncho, this is just a older German Army poncho. It's pretty cheap. Again, sportsman's guide. I guess you could say I'm a sportsman's guide whore. I buy a lot of stuff off there. For gear guys, last year I used essentially just Alice equipment. For this year, I'm using an LBV 88 style vest. Found one complete OD. For One Shepherd, they want your gear to be OD. You can use or can have woodland style gear. The thing is that you only can use that woodland gear if you're OPFOR, okay, with the woodland uniform. But they allow OD gear to be worn with the OPFOR uniform and with the woodland uniform. So it's just better to have OD gear so that you can be on either side. The reason I'm going with the LBV 88 this year as opposed to just the regular Alice setup that I had last year is because I have to carry more camera equipment this year, guys. Again, Bruce isn't going, and you know, last year I had a saw pouch and a dump pouch, you know, to help facilitate me carrying, you know, recording equipment. But you know, left a little bit to be desired in means of I needed a little bit more space if I'm going to take more camera assets. And this year I've just got more stuff to take, guys. So I had to upgrade a little bit. With that being said, one of the ways for me to make space on this Alice belt is to take the ammo pouches, the Alice ammo pouches off, and then that way with this LBV 88 style vest, I have the magazines on my chest as opposed to being in the pouch on my belt. So that facilitated being able to put 2 saw pouches on my belt in addition to you know, having with the magazines on my chest and everything. So I haven't lost anything. I still got a butt pack with a first aid kit here. I've got 2 canteens. I've got 2 saw pouches for camera equipment and other miscellaneous equipment. I've got my dump pouch, which is just a great piece of gear. Over here, guys, I've got my compass. All right, so the compass pouch with compass. I've got a Gerber utility multi-tool. All right, fits perfectly in an Alice 9mm magazine pouch. This LBV 88 holds 6 magazines. They're going to issue you 7, so you got 6 in your gear and 1 in your weapon. On one of the shoulder straps here, I've got a D-ring for just whatever purpose I need. I've got my fighting knife, and then I also got a small red lens flashlight for, you know, quick reading at night when I don't need a lot of light. All right, so just, you know, a little light for when I need it. That's pretty much it on the Deuce gear. Knee pads, guys, great piece of gear to have. Okay, knee pad in my opinion is a must. By day 2, I'm telling you, you're gonna be fighting all day. All right, by day 2 your knees are blasted if you don't have a knee pad on, you know, because you're constantly taking a knee, you're constantly getting up and down and everything else. At least have at a minimum 1 knee pad to wear. You can rotate knees or whatever you need to do, but you know, I recommend 2, but at very minimum have 1, because you will be taking a lot of knees. Okay, Gurkha machete, so that's what I take with me. I keep this on my pack and I deploy this when I need it for clearing vegetation. Did it last year. We were sitting in the defense, cleared a bunch of vegetation to make fields of fire and everything else. It was a great piece of gear. E-tool, got to have an e-tool, whether you're digging a hole to take a shit or whatever. Just a great piece of gear. Not everybody in your team needs an e-tool. Last year, Bruce found out I was taking my e-tool, so he's like, okay, well, I'm not taking mine because you got one. So hey, that is what it is. Just make sure enough guys in your squad have e-tools to facilitate, you know, digging cat holes and dropping a deuce or whatever. I don't think we do. I don't think One Shepherd does fighting positions, but you know, if they do, you know, you need an e-tool to dig those. On their gear list, they want you to have 2 bungee cords. So here's my bungee cords. These also come in handy for keeping your pack tight. So make sure you have these bungee cords for that, you know, to satisfy that requirement on the gear list. 2-quart canteen. I keep a 2-quart canteen on my pack. You can see here's the pouch here, just for extra water. So you know, I've got canteens on my belt, and then I have a 2-quart canteen, and then I also have a Camelback. You know, water is king, guys. You got to stay hydrated, otherwise you're going to go down as a heat casualty. The pack I'm using is a medium Alice pack. Now I have included, you know, who says freaking Alice isn't modular? Let me tell you guys, I've added so much crap to this thing, all right, and it's all Alice gear. All right, so on each side I've got a saw pouch. can't tell, I love saw pouches. It's just a great utility piece of gear. I've reinforced all these with zip ties, so they're not going anywhere. But if I need extra space in this Alice pack, I've got these saw pouches to facilitate that. On the bottom over here, on the right side, as you're looking at it, is a 2-quart canteen pouch. On the left side is the e-tool carrier. I also have a small compass pouch for a small piece of gear that I need to put in there. You have 3 exterior pockets. So what you would put in here is probably your Gore-Texes and your ponchos, stuff like that, stuff that you need to get to easily. Maybe 1 chow. And then you have your internal compartment for whatever you're putting in there. I'll attach my sleeping system to the top. At the bottom is going to be my isomat, okay? So sleeping roll. I got an older style isomat. The newer Marine Corps issued one is like more of like an accordion type deal. But I'm using this, and I've got it secured with lashing straps. So you guys will see all that here in a minute. Moving on. All right, guys. So these are waterproofing bags for the pack. So here is a the older Alice style Willie Peter bag. This will go inside the main compartment of my pack. For the outside pockets, so the exterior pockets of my Alice pack, these things I'll put like skivvy shirts or extra socks or stuff like that. Now these are current Marine Corps issue, but these things are awesome because you put your stuff inside there. For instance, let's say I'm loading this stuff. Let's say that you got some extra socks or whatnot, putting inside. All right, so we got our gear in there. Simply just fold this over, roll it, and then when you squeeze, it kicks all the air out, the excess air. As you guys can see, it significantly reduced the size of the bag, okay? So all that's inside. So again, this will be like skivvy, socks, maybe extra skivvies or whatever if I'm going to the field, so I can keep that stuff in the exterior part of the pack and not have to worry about it getting wet. Also, I've got 2 different covers. So if I'm on the Blue Force side, I might throw this pack cover over the whole entirety of my pack. These things are great because they just, it helps break up the outline of the pack by giving it a camouflage pattern. But what it also does is when you put this on there, when you cover the whole pack, it helps keep it tight, okay? So once I put this on there, the whole pack is essentially going to be contained inside this pack cover, and it'll make less noise. There we go. And once again, a tight pack is a light pack. So, got the pack cover on there, it'll make less noise and just contained inside there, okay? And then when it comes time to drop your pack, well, hey, you got a camouflage cover on now. It's less noticeable, and hopefully the enemy, if they stumble upon packs, they won't see your pack because it's freaking camouflaged, right? Just a little bit added incentive. Again, I'll only take that if I'm on the Blue Force side. This right here, this is a Rainfly 4-pack. This is an OD. And this is just for inclement weather, okay? So if I had the opportunity, now again, I'll take measures to ensure that, most stuff in my pack, if not already, is waterproofed. But this is just an extra thing that if I want to, I can throw this on top of my pack, and it'll help, help give my pack a little bit more water resistance, and help it keep it dry during rainstorms. Fits in this little tiny pouch. Weighs practically nothing. It's a good little piece of gear, and I don't think it costs too much. Maybe $15 at most. VS17 air panel. This is just a emergency piece of equipment if I need it. Let's say we have a real casualty, and they need to call in like a care flight or a medevac or something. Put that VS17 air panel out there to help signal aircraft or signal a vehicle if somebody's coming in ground transportation. You got guys out there in camouflage. It might be difficult for somebody coming down the road that's trying to extract our guy from seeing us. So a lot of uses for this, but it's primarily for emergency. But who knows? Maybe we could use this for signaling each other or whatnot, if we're sitting in the defense or whatever. Taking it with me. Got it. Moving on. All right, guys, so we're almost down to the end here. So Camelback, I've got an older model Camelback style carrier. Okay, this is like the one I had during the initial invasion of Iraq in '03. The reason I'm taking this is because it's primarily OD and I wanted it to blend in with my gear and whatnot. Camelback's a big proponent of them. I love them. You know, it's one of the best pieces of gear to be able to continuously hydrate while you're in the fight. So I think Camelbacks are essential. I primarily use my canteens and everything else, like 2 quarts, to refill my Camelback. So that will be going. I'll save that for here in a minute. So these things right here, these are awesome. Okay, this is just kind of an insider Marines trick. But when you go on a hump or a hike, you get these, you suck on these while you're on the hike, and you know, it's constantly giving you electrolytes and everything else, and keeping you in the fight. I took these last semester. I was giving them to Bruce, I was giving them to another Marine that was up there, and they loved them. Okay, these are great. Like I said, it keeps you getting those electrolytes, so you're less likely to you know, get cramped up or get fatigued and fall out. Keep you hydrated, ready for war. Great piece of gear. Highly recommend. Go get them. They're going to issue you MREs, guys, just like this. They're going to look just like that. What I recommend you do is you break them down, okay? Break them down into essentials on what you need, and then you'll just take the bag, right, after you've done field stripping them, and then put this inside the bag so that you have something to stuff your trash in. What you hump in, you got to hump out. So, you know, put your trash in, you know, something like this after you get done, but make sure you field strip the MREs so you're cutting out that extra weight and everything else. One of the other stuff that the gentleman on YouTube sent me, in addition to the camera equipment, were these German field chows. Have no idea what these are, guys. Don't know what they taste like. I will try them out and see what's going on, but he said that they're a complete meal. One complete meal and in this pouch, so we'll see what happens. I'll probably try one out during the week when I'm up there, and if it's good to go, then I'll probably take one on the FTX. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, so last thing I'm gonna talk about is a pistol. Now, last time I was up there, my understanding of it was that if it wasn't your first time, so it was your second or third or whatever time, just as long as it wasn't your first time at One Shepherd, you were authorized to carry Condition 3 pistol. Now, what that means is you have an empty chamber, okay, so there's no round in your chamber. Your slide is closed on an empty chamber, and you have a magazine inserted, all right, so there's no round in the chamber. And then you just had to keep it holstered. Okay, and that was for, you know, self-defense against, I guess, wild hogs or coyotes or whatever, if in the event that you needed it. This place, One Shepherd, is in the middle of the backwoods, right? So, you know, who knows? You might end up in a, if you get lost from your patrol, you might end up in a well in some guy's basement, you know, and there's a dude reeling down a bucket with some lotion on it. You know, you never know. So, yeah, a pistol's a good thing to have if it's your subsequent trip to One Shepherd. So, I may or may not take this on the FTX with me. We'll find out, all right? But I'm going to take it up there, and if I decide to wear it or am authorized to wear it, then I probably will wear it. But that's it for the gear, guy. Oh, hold on. I will wear a lanyard if I wear a pistol. The reason for it is because I don't want to lose this sucker. So if I wear a pistol, I will have a lanyard. But moving on. Well, that's it, guys. That concludes this video. If you sat and listened to me bump my gums for about an hour, hey, I appreciate it. I hope you guys found this information useful. If you're a newcomer to One Shepherd, I hope this gives you a better idea of what to expect and what to bring. If you're a veteran of One Shepherd, I hope maybe you got an idea or two off of the some of the stuff I put on here. In any event, if you are a veteran of One Shepherd and you have some additional information you want to pass along, please don't hesitate to post in the comment section so that some of these newcomers can read that and have that information before going into the fight. I really look forward to this, guys. Super excited, and can't wait to train with some of my subscribers that I know are enrolled that are going to be there this semester. So that being said, guys, keep fighting the good fight. Semper Fidelis, and see you downrange.